Okay, let's take a look at our next lesson, lesson number 72, implied ratios. Implied ratios. We're going to do it a little bit different than they do it. We're going to start using ratios again like we were last time. But we're also going to use a different formula, okay? We may have to use rate times time equals distance. Rate times time equals distance. What do I mean by that? Good question. So let's say I'm traveling at 5 miles per hour and I'm traveling for 2 hours. How many miles did I go? 5 miles per hour times 2 hours. I traveled 10 miles, okay? So what's also true about this is if I don't know, let's say I don't know this, it's easy, I just multiply. If I don't know this, I'm really saying x times 2 equals 10, divide both sides by 2, x equals 5. 5 would fit in there. And the same thing true if 2 is missing and I know the 5, then I would say 5x, 5 times x equals 10, divide both sides by 5, and solve from there, okay? So we may have to use this one on our problems, but mostly it's going to be ratios. Let's dive in. Implied ratios, lesson number 72. Let's go to page 438, example number 1. If 5 pounds of grain costs $1.20. So I like to put our money answer on the top, all right? So $1.20 costs, 5 of them cost $1.20. How much would 12 pounds of grapes cost, okay? So it was 5 pounds. Make sure across from the 5 pounds is also the, let's see here, the ratio 12 pounds, and here's my unknown, okay? Make sure your money answers across from each other, etc. Another way you could do this is you could start off by simplifying or reducing. $1.20 divided by 5. 5 goes into 12 2 times. Okay, let's just do it over here. 5 goes into 12 2 times behind the decimal. That's 10, drop down to 2. And 5 goes into 20 4 times. So I could say 0.24 over 1, but you don't necessarily have to. Okay? So $1.20 over 5 pounds, LBS. And these symbols don't really matter, just so you know. You can get rid of them. Make sure they're right across from each other. If you want to put 5 on the top and 12 on the top, you can. And just make sure your money answer is horizontally across from each other. Okay? And this would tell me how much 12 pounds would cost. So again, cross multiplication, 5x. I like to keep my x on the left side. It could be on the right. I just like always seeing it on the left. And then it's 12 times 1.2, or $1.20. I don't want to confuse you. Let's put the 0 in so I don't break your brain. Okay? 2 times 0 is 0, 4, 2, x, 0, 2, 1, 0, 4, 4, 1, decimal over 2 spots, okay? So I would have 1440. That's not my answer. You may do all that work and just stop working and thinking that's your answer, but it's not. That's what 1.2 times 12 is. Now, I'm not done yet because I want to get the unknown by itself. Divide both sides by 5, and then I'll have my answer, okay? 5 goes into 14. Let's see here. 2 times with 4 left over. Let's write it over here. 14, 40. Here's 2, 10, 4. Bring my decimal straight up. Don't forget, bring your decimal straight up. All right, so now I've got 5 goes into 44. 8 times. 40, drop down the 4. 5 goes into 40. 8 times. Okay, so $2.88 is the answer that the book has and the answer that I have. Okay? All right. Let's move on to our practice problems. Practice problems. Okay? Practice A. I want you to try to solve it. Now, you're not writing out boxes and whatnot. Stick with the ratio format. Okay? And stick with the rate times time equals distance. For some reason, because you're in 7th grade, they want you drawing lots of boxes and writing words in boxes, and it's just kind of redundant. You're going to use more algebra moving forward, so we're trying to get you started there earlier. So either use the rate times time equals distance formula or use the ratio formula, okay? I just want the right answer. I don't care if you've got boxes and words written in, okay? So pause the video, do letter A, and then we'll see how you did. Okay, now that you've answered practice A, let's take a look at it. Okay, use a case, 1 case, 2 ratio box to solve this problem. Blah, 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 don't do that. Kevin rode 30 kilograms. Kevin rode 30 kilometers in 2 hours. Okay? So first of all, I need to figure out how fast is he going. Okay? They said how long would it take him to ride 75 kilometers. This one's a little tricky. First, I need to figure out how much he's traveling in 1 hour. So if he's doing 30 kilometers in 2 hours, I really want to know how many kilometers he's doing per hour, or how many kilometers he's doing in 1 hour. Same thing. Okay? So if I have 30 over 2, you're smart enough to know that's 15 over 1. So in 1 hour, he's covering 15 kilometers. This is considered a rate. Okay? The rate of his speed. Okay? So he's doing, I can put 15 right there. R times T equals D. It's right up here. So when I reduced it, I found out the rate's 15 kilometers per hour. Just put 15, don't put km, because then you're going to see too many letters and get lost pretty quick, okay? At that rate, which is this, how long time, I don't know what that is. You can put times t, I just write t next to it because we know it's a multiplication problem. How long would it take him to travel, where was I? 75 kilometers. So the distance is 75. 15 times what would get him 75? So I know that 15 times t is a multiplication problem. Opposite of multiplication is, say it out loud, say it, make sure no one's looking, so you don't feel nervous, embarrassed about it. I'm talking to no one in the classroom. You can at least answer me out loud in your kitchen or bedroom. Okay, so 15 times t, and the opposite, which is what? Okay, division. Okay, thank you for the 1 or 2 answers I got. So we divide both sides by 15. Divide both sides by 15. Okay? This turns to 1 over 1, which makes it go away. T equals 15 divided by 75. Now you may be going over and doing your 15 divided by 75. You can do that. 15 is something you're going to need to know multiples of. 15 and 15 is 30. 15 on top of the 30 is 45. We're at 3. 45 and 15 is 60. That's 4. 60 and 15 is 75. But if you're not comfortable doing that, then let's just do our division problems, which is basically just guessing the exact same thing. 15 goes into 75, you gotta figure it out anyway. So 15 times 15 is 25 to 2. 5 times 1 plus 2 is 75. So my answer is going to be 5. It takes them 5 hours at 15 kilometers per hour to cover 75 miles. Okay? Let's do one more. Let's take a look at letter B. Solve it. Pause the video, and then we'll take a look. Okay, letter B. If 6 bales are needed to feed 40 head of cattle, how many bales are needed to feed 50 head of cattle? Use the blah, 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 blah. Okay? So we have the ratio is known, and they already say its actual is known, but they're going to increase one thing. You'll use this in baking, let's say, if you know you need 3 eggs to make 24 muffins, but you want to make 60 muffins. Okay, so you use a ratio like that to solve. This is the same type of thing. So let's say it's 6 bales over 40. Okay, and you could write bales over cattle equals bales over cattle. So put your bales on your top, your cattle on the bottom. Okay, so I'll put the bales on next. Now how many bales do we have here in example letter B, practice B? They said how many bales. That's my unknown. I like to put the letter B there for bales. You can do that, or you can just put the letter X or Y, or who cares. A letter for your name, I guess. Or an F, which you may be getting in this class, okay? All right, so I've got B over what? I've got B over, keep losing my place, use the, 50 head of cattle. Okay, so if 6 will feed 40, how many will feed 50? Okay, cross multiply. I have 40B equals 6 times 5 is 30, and then add another 0 in. If you need to go there and write, that's fine. 6 times 5 is 30, so 6 times 50 is 300. 40B equals 300. The goal of any algebra problem is to do what? Get the unknown by itself. Okay, 40 times B, opposite multiplication is division. Divide both sides by 40. Okay, B equals, let's put this on the outside. Let's put 300 on the inside. 40 goes straight into it. So 4 goes into 30. You could say 7 times is probably a good bet. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 40. 7 times 4 is 28. Drop down to 2. Okay. So 40 goes into 200 how many times? Well, that's 5 times. So the answer is 7.5 bales, which is their answer. You can do 7.5 bales. How many bales would it take? Or do 7.5 bales. But don't write 7.5 BAALS. That's a false god. Okay? So 7.5 bales. All right, so that's lesson number 72. And if you have questions, reach out. I want to help. That's what we're here.